Welcome to the Hidden Palace with Skyblaze.
Hello, I am finally here. I am so sorry about the delay. We are 15 minutes late because Radio DJ decided to just corrupt its database and eat all my music. So here we are. I'm frantically trying to build the playlist as I'm doing the show, which is not exactly how I prefer to do things. But today, it's kind of emblematic though, because today we are talking about some of the worst games that have appeared on SEGA platforms. Things that are a monument to technical incompetence. For example, suggested by, I think, the vast majority of the chat on Discord last week, on the Dreamcast, Exhibition of Speed, also known as EOS. Now, the Dreamcast has some pretty superb racing games, like Metropolis Street Racer, Le Mans 24 Hours, and so on and so forth. It also has some really bad ones. One of the latter is Exhibition of Speed, a title which was developed by a relatively obscure developer called Player One and published by Titus, but only in PAL regions. The box claims that EOS has 15 tracks, which is a lie. It only has 5, and they're kind of generic. There's like a train yard for some reason is one of them. There's like a mountain trail and a desert, and they all look terrible. The frame rate is awful, pretty much universally, with terrible draw distance, and the cars look blocky and ugly, and everything is just generally hideous. The AI cars, I can say words, will cheerfully smash into you at top speed and send you careening off the track as soon as the lights go out. But not because the AI is clever, but in fact because it is fearfully stupid. It is programmed to blindly follow the racing line at top speed regardless of what gets in its way. There are rumours that the game was released unfinished, and it's not hard to see why people would think that. I have unfortunately been able to confirm this, but yeah, I can see why people would think that. Electric Boogaloo is saying it was the last game that Player One produced before they closed. This doesn't surprise me. So I'm going to play some music from some good racing games while I frantically try and build up the rest of the playlist. So here is from RKO Remix Outrun Magical Sound Shower and Metropolis Street Racer Show Me Your Love. and that was, what was that? RKO Remix, Outrun, Magical Sound Shower, and Metropolis Street Racer, Show Me Your Love, performed by the amazing TJ Davis. Sorry for the tracks bleeding in. I was trying to use my monitor on Radio DJ to check for other tracks that I'm going to add in later. Because I've had no time to do this because of the database foul up. Unfortunately, it seems that that's still transmitting, which is incredibly irritating, and I don't know how to stop it because I've had to reset everything up. Arg! Okay, so next terrible game. This one was suggested by Electric Boogaloo, and I'm going to apologise in advance because I am probably going to mess up this pronunciation. Osomatsu-kun Hachamecha Gekiju, I think. So I almost certainly messed that one up. It translates as Nonsense Theatre and was based on an anime manga of the same name about a set of sextuplets and their shenanigans. Now that ran through most of the 60s before it got a new version in 1988. The game is based on the 1988 revival. The game lets you control Osomatsu, who is the eldest of the sextuplets, as he explores a strange and surreal world armed only with a slingshot. Well, the game looks pretty good. There are some pretty uncomfortable and outright offensive character designs which are, well, racist stereotypes, frankly. And there are very short stages which make for a short game overall. There's not really a great deal of challenge, and apparently the game can be completed in less than an hour. So not the sort of thing if you want to kill a lot of time. And Electric Boogaloo is saying it's the third Mega Drive game which was ever released, and the first one after launch. You can... Super Sluts 2 saying, nice to have you back. I know you've been back on for a little while, but this is the first in the new batch that I've been able to catch. Welcome! And I apologise for any of the ropiness here, because as you may have heard, my music database decided to corrupt itself half an hour before I was supposed to go live. Thanks for that, Radio DJ. That's absolutely marvellous. Right, so I'm going to have to do most of the rest of the music on here completely blind, because I'm not going to be able to listen to it before I put it on. So that's going to be fun. I apologise for any duff tracks that I play. So here is Osomatsu-kun, Underground Area. Actually, before I do that, back to the Dreamcast, and I'm going to loot the music. We have Death Crimson OX, which was the third title in the Death Crimson series, and it was a light shooting game developed by a company called Ecole, and was first released in arcades in 2000 before being ported to the Dreamcast in 2001, apparently after Sega had already ceased support for the console. Whoops. It was the third game in the series and the only one to be released outside of Japan. Frankly though, the Western world was not missing much. Apparently the first game in the series on the Saturn was even more dreadful, but I've not been able to find a great deal about that one. I'll cover it again in another episode, I think. The game got terrible reviews and was lambasted for awful visuals, a confusing and convoluted storyline, and game mechanics that made it really very easy. Again. So, two incredibly easy games, one after the other. There. Electric Boogaloo is correcting themselves. Oh, never mind. Osomatsu-kun is the fourth Mega Drive game ever released. Altered Beams came out a few weeks before. Okay. Well, okay, now let's have some music. I'm actually paying attention, not panicking. Okay, so from Osomatsu-kun we have Underground Arena, and then from Death Crimson OX, labelled slightly oddly, because of the aforementioned problems with my database, is background music KA01. So, enjoy, and I'll speak to you again after the break, once I've frantically added some more music in. Ah, that was shorter than I expected. Whoops. Right, so that was... What was that? Let's scroll up. Osamatsu-kun Underground Area and Death Crimson OX, BGM 02, I think. KA 02. It's been that sort of a day, can you tell? Okay. Where was I? I have entirely lost track of where my notes are. There we go. Anybody talking to me on the chat? Altered Beast came out of here. The original Death Crimson soundtrack is now available officially on Amazon and possibly a few other places. This is from Electric Boogaloo on the chat, by the way. Should also mention that the composer of the original game has a YouTube account, which is a great watch. Okay. Electric Boogaloo's put a link up in the Discord chat. Thinks OX is pronounced like the animal, like ox. It's curious because it's in capitals, which oh well. I don't know. Alright, back to the actual topic. Fighting Force 2 on the Dreamcast attempted to bring the side-scrolling beat-em-up into the world of 3D. It was a sequel to Fighting Force on the N64 and PlayStation 1, which got okay-ish reviews. Not so for the sequel, with audiences tearing it apart over the generic and boring protagonist who went by the name of Hawk Manson. Oh dear. And his astoundingly limited moveset, which lacks any kind of special moves or holds or flips or anything interesting. So players can only do the same boring punches and kicks over and over again on the same generic enemies who just pop up over and over again. There are like 3 of them. Not to mention the camera, which in the typical early 3D era style would entirely have a mind of its own and quite frequently stick the player in a wall or something, so they had no idea what was actually going on. So yeah, that was nicely done. Then we have, on the Mega Drive, developer and publisher Razorsoft, who attempted to find a niche for itself during the Mega Drive/Genesis era by taking assorted mediocre 8-bit microcomputer titles and remaking them for the Mega Drive, and slapping bucket loads of blood, gore and nudity into them. Okay. One such example is Stormlord, a generic action platformer in the kind of Golden Axe sort of a vein, which is starring the titular Stormlord, who is a very large bearded warrior type, who appears to have a grand total of 3 flames of animation, who is charged with rescuing some naked fairies who are trapped in bubbles. That's it. While the graphics are relatively pleasant when they're still and not moving, there are only 2 backgrounds throughout the entire game, and the animation is incredibly stiff and awkward, especially for the title character, who, as I said, only has the aforementioned 3 frames of animation. The only thing that is of note with this is the use of nudity. Oh dear. If that's all you've got going for you, then try harder. Okay. So, from Stormlord, we've got the title theme. Yeah, Twinny's saying Stormlord reeks of poor man's Duke Nukem. Yeah, a little bit. Only Mega Drive era and crap. And Fighting Force. Where's that gone? Yeah, Fighting Force was actually developed by Core Design, of all people, and on my files it's just labelled with a number, so I've no idea where in the game it's from. But there it is anyway. So let's enjoy these. I picked it at random, because I have no idea what it sounds like, so I apologise in advance if it sounds terrible. So, there we go. Let's have a listen to those, and I'll speak to you again after the break. And we are back. And that was Fighting Force, some track or other. Actually sounded alright, didn't it? And that was Stormlord title theme. Gosh, that's compressed, that title theme. I don't know if that's the version that I've got, or if it sounded like that on the Mega Drive, because if it sounded like that on the Mega Drive, oh boy. Super Sled 2 is talking about hard driving on the Mega Drive. Hard driving was a great racing game on arcade, but I don't know what happened to the port for the Mega Drive, but it was just awful. It was damn near uncontrollable. I have played it on emulation, but I don't have the physical copy. As I was saying, if I can get my capture card to speak to my retro consoles like my Dreamcast, Mega Drive, Saturn, I might see about streaming some retro SEGA stuff at some point. Currently, me and my husband Tony. He's grateful on here, on chat, on the Discord chat. I mean, he's been streaming Let's Go Pikachu with me. So we've been doing that on our Twitch channel. I'm gonna loop my music and get back to what I'm actually supposed to be talking about. So, the success of Mortal Kombat prompted a lot of developers to climb onto the ultra-violence bandwagon in search of some similar success. And one of those was called Strata, aka Incredible Technologies, who created Time Killers on the Mega Drive. The premise was that 8 characters from different historical periods would fight each other, and then Death himself for a chance at immortality. If this sounds familiar, then Eternal Champions did it a lot better. The Mega Drive version looked utterly hideous, with muddy, blocky sprites, awkward, unresponsive controls, and a terrible sound. Which is why I'm not going to be subjecting you to it, because it's awful. It sounds like a cat running up and down a Casio keyboard. It's so bad. On the plus side, though, it is possible to win a match with both of your arms lopped off. 'Tis but a scratch! So yeah, you can have fun quoting Monty Python for hours on end. Speaking of Eternal Champions, did you know that it had a spin-off? Well, Electric Boogaloo probably did, but Electric Boogaloo knows all and sees all. Yes, Experts. That's spelt X-Perts, because poor literacy is cool. On the Mega Drive stars Shadow Yamamoto in her design from Eternal Champions Challenge from the Dark Side, which is the Sega CD one if you weren't sure. Shadow is said to be leading a group of experts, in inverted commas, in sabotaging the efforts of a terrorist group. Possibly. This mostly seems to involve doing the same boring mission involving going to a computer, pressing a button and doing nothing for several minutes. So as you may have guessed, the game proved to be repetitive, with boring missions, incredibly stupid enemy AI, and poor animation that results in the male character, one of the male characters, who's the big muscle-bound guy, who appears to be engaging in some personal time when he's using a computer. No, seriously, go and look up footage. Yeah. Wow. Electric Boogaloo has been reduced to using all caps. Experts, it is Tessuck. It really, really, really is. Strata was a label of Incredible Technologies, makers of long-running and successful Golden Tee golf games. Yes, that was mentioned, I think, when I was looking stuff up for this. And Husband Greyfall has randomly appeared saying that wasn't the only spin-off. Look up Chicago Syndicate. Is it as terrible as Experts? Because if it is, I'm not sure I want to. Right, let's have some more music. And as I said, I'm not going to subject you to the music from these because it's not good. So instead, we'll have some music from a decent fighting game, from Streets of Rage 2. Assuming that Radio DJ is cooperating, yes it is. We've got the bonus track Go Straight Beat Mix, and then we've got Eternal Champions Immortal Souls OC Remix, because I love it and it's great, and if you've not heard it, then you should. And after that, we are going to have the Chiption Corner, but I don't have a huge amount to say on it, because I had to pick something very, very quickly because of the obvious problems. Virtual people are saying, yeah, Chicago Syndicate isn't very good either. Yeah, oh well. Well, let's have some music and then we can chat some more about some... If you want to nominate some more awful games for me to do a sequel episode to this one, please let me know. I'm sure there are plenty... I'm sure this well goes deep and there's plenty more to be mined out of this one. are back. And that was Eternal Champions Immortal Souls from OC Remix, and Streets of Rage 2 Go Straight Beat Mix, which was a bonus track. And people on the chat are making me jealous because they have Mega CDs or Sega CDs, and I do not. I am sad. Although, because I've got a Mega Drive 2, I would have to get the second version of the Sega CD or Mega CD, which inexplicably turn up less often in the UK, or that I've seen. I'd also probably have to have a bit more money than I do now, and somewhere to put it, because my TV unit is kind of full of consoles at the moment, especially since I got the Saturn. Oh well. Right. What else are people talking about in the chat? Yeah, people are discussing some other terrible games. Electric Boogaloo sent me at least one suggestion for a follow-up episode to this, which I might do sometime in the new year. And Super Sled was talking about E.T. on the Atari 2600, which is a bad game, but is not as bad as its reputation has painted it. Considering it was programmed in like something insane like 10 days. And the Atari 2600 was an absolute pain to program for. Super Sled saying, yeah, I have a Mega Drive 2 as well. I slightly prefer the Mega Drive 2. I don't know what it is. Possibly because it's the version I had when I was younger. I don't know. Anyway, let's have some chip-tune. I picked something more or less at random. It's one of the tracks from RKO Remix, because I couldn't import the track I was actually after in time. So this is Warhawk from RKO Remix. And I will talk to you again after that. And we are back. And yes, that was Warhawk from RKO Remix. I'm not sure who the individual composer was. I didn't have a chance to look it up, I'm afraid. So yeah, my husband Greyfor is in the chat causing mischief, saying that he often waits till the morning and gets up early, because I am terrible at mornings. He gets up early so he can steal the TV and use the consoles, because he is a git. As Uplet saying, I got married about 6 weeks ago. Oh, congratulations! And she let me have Sega music to walk down the aisle and sign the register. When we got married, we had Crush 40 playing Is It You? And our wedding cakes were Sonic themed. Yeah, they were. I'll probably show a picture at some point, but I can't be bothered right now. Thank you so much to everybody who's tuned in, and thank you so much for people who've been patient while the problems with the tech were going on. I appreciate your patience, and I'm so grateful to you guys for sticking with it and tuning in and listening. So yeah, Superled2, Green Viper, Doan, Electric Boogaloo, Greyfor, who lives with me so probably doesn't count. Love you really. And anybody else who's joined in on Twitter, on Facebook, if you have any topics you want me to cover, if you have any ideas for awful games you want me to do in a follow-up episode, please let me know. And I am going to be doing an episode for Winterfest. Not entirely sure what it's going to be yet, but I'm sure I'll think of something. So I will see you then. And I'm not sure where I was going with that. Well, hopefully I'll do some more Pokemon streaming at some point with Greyfor, and it's going to be awesome and fun and cute. Yes, alright, Viper, you have all the consoles in the known universe. You're including handhelds, and we didn't include our handhelds, so that's cheating. Hello, Supersonic Swag. Thank you again to everybody for tuning in. Hopefully see you during Winterfest. I think I'm on a Friday at 9, I think. And Toad's saying, yeah, you're more cute Pokemons. I know, it's so adorable. And yeah, probably in the new year I'll do another episode on terrible games, because this seems to be a popular topic and it gets a lot of conversation started, so we'll probably do it again. But if you have any other suggestions, please let me know. And hopefully I can get my tech working consistently and not fouling up again. That would be nice, and re-import all of my music. A lot of people were saying, glad the show ended up well today. Yeah, we got there eventually. Oh dear. So yeah, thank you so much for sticking with it and commenting and joining in and generally getting involved. And one last track to see us out on. This is from, I think it was from Hedgehog Heaven actually, on OC Remix. And this is Analog Sonic Caves. Thank you everybody, good night and take care.
Enjoyed the show? Check out the full Radio Sega live schedule at radiose.ga/shows. Radio Sega, playing the best Sega music 24/7.